Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Deciding to Soar, Living Life Your Own Way. And I'm Sharon Jameson, and I hope this episode finds you well nourished, well loved, and well rested. Well, today I'm so excited about our episode because I want to share a conversation that I'm having with many leaders and visionaries and creators about the seasons of life, because I believe that there are many seasons of our life that help us become who we were called and created to be. And these seasons give us the knowledge and the wisdom and the courage to be who we were called to be so that we won't settle for what society has taught and told us to be. And so I want to share these 5 seasons with you because I believe that there are 5 phases of our lives that are critical for all of us. There is the revelational season, there's the educational season, the directional season, the aspirational season, and the enjoyable season. And each season is part of our soul's curriculum to help us be all that we have been called to be. And so I want to talk about those seasons. And I also want you to know that you can be in multiple seasons because we don't grow or experience life in a linear fashion. So you could be in one season emotionally, another season spiritually, and a third season professionally, because the seasons, those 5 seasons of our lives, they don't compete with each other. They complement each other. And so I want us to explore these seasons one by one. And as we go through them, I invite you to reflect and ask yourself, what season are you in right now? And what is this specific season inviting you to learn about yourself or to reclaim about yourself or to release so that you can be more of yourself? So let's look at these seasons a little closer. The first season, I believe, that really helps us be who we were called to be is this revelational season. This is the season where the truth finds you. It is when you start to ask yourself questions. Questions like, what if? Why don't I? Why should I? Who told me that? It's the time of our lives where you start asking questions so that you have greater insight about who you are. And when you ask these questions, it really challenges much of what you have learned about yourself and about the world. And so this revelational period is also called an awakening. And it's often experienced as discomfort because you are starting to get divine nudges. You're starting to have divine inquiry so that you can receive the insight and clarity you need so you understand what's not working in your life or what you want more of or less of. And what I love about this revelational season, it breaks all the illusions and it breaks through all the lies and brings the truth to light so that you can start your soul's realignment. And so when I think about the revelational season, it's as if your spirit is whispering, there's more, there's more, there's more for you. And so when we think about this revelational season that all of us will go through it sometimes through our lives, and you can go through it multiple times, it is something that will not only give you some discomfort, but it will also let you know that you are shifting. And it will also let you know that you can never act like you don't know what you really know, right? You can't unknow something. Because when we are in this revelational period, this season, you realize that maybe a profession no longer aligns with you, or a career doesn't align with you, or a relationship no longer nourishes you, or a belief system no longer fits with you. And so this season, this sacred season, will call you out of this autopilot, of this status quo, and invite you to wake up. Wake up to your needs, your purpose, your calling, so it can clarify what is needed for this new chapter of your life. So revelation is about uncovering and rediscovering and finding out parts of yourself that may have been hidden from you. It's about learning about your talents and your gifts. And sometimes the revelational season is quick. It's like instantaneous, because you may have had a loss or a death or a layoff or some type of life changing experience. But it also can be incremental, where there's just a gradual uneasiness, a gradual unhappiness, a gradual sense of feeling stagnant. So it can be instantaneous, incremental, but it is something. It's a season of your life that will give you clarity. It will make you change, and it may be uncomfortable. So that is the revelation, because you are learning something. You are listening to the whispers of your soul in new ways. The second season is the educational season. This is a time of our life where, after we have awakened and we have become aware to what we want and need and require, because we have had a revelation, it's the part of our lives is educational season, where we start to gather tools and wisdom and skills. It's when we may start going to classes or go back to school, get a coach, get a mentor, get a therapist. It's when you might start reading lots of books and listening to podcasts. And you start being open to learn by mentors, mistakes, and also new moments. So you're looking for new opportunities, new experiences. And this stage of our life is so vital, because it prepares you with the knowledge and the spiritual maturity and the inner fortitude and the growth, so that you can make different changes in your life, that you can make different decisions and architect what you need. And this educational season is what allows you to build the vision that you uncovered during your revelation. I'll say that again. During the educational seasons of our life, it provides us with the tools and the strategies and the analysis and the wisdom that we need to feed the vision of ourselves that we saw during the revelational season of our lives. And what I really love about this educational seasons that we all will go through is that we start to look at our lives differently. And through gathering spiritual tools and emotional intelligence and deeper discernment, we see people differently. We see our patterns differently. We look at experiences through a wider lens. But this educational season is so vital, because education is important, because education needs wisdom, right? Because revelation without wisdom makes us impulsive. So you never want to have revelation without wisdom, because revelation is the information and wisdom is how to use it. And so you need this education so that you have the tools and the knowledge, so you're not impulsive, but you're insightful, so that you are making decisions that create forward motion, and so you're not spinning out of control. So the educational season is what grounds you, which grounds your insight into practice, so that you not only see differently or know differently, but you also have the skills to live differently. Educational season is critical. The third season that is so critical to us is this directional season. And the directional season of our lives is all about movement. It's when we take what we learn from new revelations about who we are and what we want. It's what we take the education that we have gained and put that into function, put it into action in our lives. And this directional season is very clarifying because it's all about testing and trying. And it requires us to let go of old paths, let go of old plans and beliefs that don't serve us. And it allows us to start building our lives so that outer life aligns with our inner truth. So that if we say that we want to live a life of greater harmony and less hustling on the outside, it'll help us make choices. So we're picking different jobs, we're picking different environments, we're picking different people. And so when we think about this directional season, it's all about movement. And movement is not always physical. Sometimes we can move physically. Sometimes we can move emotionally. Sometimes we can move spiritually. Because remember, stillness is still an action. It takes a lot of energy to stay still. So direction is important because direction comes when you are ready to walk in what you know, right? And during the revelation period, you have learned something about yourself. You have gained the tools to do it, and directional helps you to move toward that area. So when you think about directional seasons of your life, I want you to remember you never need a whole map. In this directional season of your life, you just need enough courage. You just need enough courage to follow your inner compass, and you just need enough courage to follow your own conscience without worrying about the crowd. Because the directional season of our life is about saying yes to something new, yes to something different. It's about saying no to what no longer fits. It's about saying no to who no longer fits. Because this season is so important because without direction, we will drift or we will sink. So there's a lot of divine work that we need to do. And when we are moving with direction, remember one step at a time, you don't have to see the whole pathway. It allows you to take the next right step, just the next right step. We don't need to see the destination, but we can see what we need to do now. So directional season is really important. And when we are moving in a directional place, you know that you are moving at the direction of your spirit, and you will know that you are following a divine GPS, which is really critical. The fourth season I think is so critical is the aspirational season. And the aspirational season is where you give yourself permission to start dreaming again. It's when you start to believe again. It's when your desires reemerge, or your faith reemerges, or your hope reemerges that allows you to ground yourself in your purpose. It's when your vision expands. It's when your creativity starts to flow. And during this aspirational part of our lives, it allows us to give ourselves permission to dream, to restore the sense of possibility and positivity and opportunity. And it gives life and breath and fuel to our calling. And what I love about aspirational seasons is that it reminds us that our dreams provide divine data so that we can have the fuel and the energy to move forward. So I want you to think about your own life and ask yourself, are you in a season where you're noticing that your imagination has been reunited? Or do you feel that you are in a season where you want to love again, when you want to dream again, when you want to desire again, when you want to try again? And I want to also say this is a season, the aspirational season is a season of your life where you might be often misunderstood. People will say that you are being delusional, but you're really being divine. People will say that you are taking too many risks, but you know that you are doing what's right for you at this season. And this season, this aspirational season of our lives, is about purpose. And it's not about a checklist. It's not about having a to-do list, but it's about moving in a way that allows you to live with more freedom, more liberty, more joy, more faith, more openness. And this aspirational season of our life is where you're going to start that business, go back to school. You're going to do whatever gives you joy and power and excitement and creativity. You will be able to tap into your passions, maybe passions that you might need to resurrect or to invite back into your life. So aspirational season is important. And the last season is the enjoyable season. That is the season where you give yourself permission to enjoy the fruit of your labor. It's the time of your life where you can taste the fruit of your journey. It's when you allow yourself to feel good, to rest well, to receive joy, to receive ease, to receive help, to receive love. And it's when you understand that enjoyment is not a reward. You understand that enjoyment is a requirement for sustained purpose. Because if you don't enjoy something, you won't do it. It won't be sustainable. You won't keep at it. And when we're in this enjoyable season, we are choosing to live fuller and deeper and more transparent and more authentic. Because we realize that joy is sacred, pleasure is part of our purpose, and we know that we don't have to earn enjoyment, that enjoyment is our essence. And enjoyment can look differently based on where we are in our lives, our culture, our gender, our own identities, because everybody experiences enjoyment differently. And so when I think about enjoyment, I want you to spell it enjoyment, but I also want you to put IN-joy, like joy inside. And it's really important because the enjoyable season allows you to rest, receive, and rejoice. And after gaining new insight about who you are in the revelational period, after the learning in the educational period, all of taking action and execution in the directional period, and all of the dreaming in the aspirational period, the enjoyable season is where you sit back and savor, and you allow yourself to be nourished and to laugh and to love and to release guilt and to invite joy. And you stop waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? Because some of us feel guilty when we have too much joy and too much love and too much peace in our life. And so this is a time of our life when we trust peace. We trust ease. We trust that enjoyment is not a detour from the purpose, but we understand and appreciate that enjoyment is part of the purpose. And this season is so important because it lets us know that enjoyment is our birthright. And we are not just here to work, but we are here to be in community. We are here to witness our gifts and witness who we are and witness our own becoming. So I want you to think about these seasons, and I want you to think about how they are showing up in your life. And so ask yourself, are you waking up to the truth of who you are? Revelation. Are you gathering information and tools so that you can do more, be more educational? Are you taking the next aligned step, directional? And remember, this direction is a time of testing and evaluation. It's time of mistakes and moments and mentors. Are you dreaming? Are you daring yourself to dream? That's the aspirational. And are you allowing joy to have its way with you, which is the enjoyable season? And maybe you are in all five, because remember, you can be in one season emotionally, in one season professionally, and that's okay. That's called life. That is called becoming. That is called stepping into the fullness of who you are. And the blessing is that no season is wasted. No season of your life is wrong. Each season is divine and shapes you for your divine assignment. So I invite you to embrace whatever season or seasons you are experiencing in your life. And if this episode really speaks to you, I pray that you will share this episode with someone who's navigating their own seasons. And I also hope that you would send me an email at sharon@sharonjameson.com and let me know how this episode speaks to you. And if you are interested in attending some of our gatherings when we're talking about things like seasons and living in harmony and not in hustle, let me know. We'd love to invite you to some of those sessions, or make sure you get my newsletter where I share and provide insider information about dates where you can show up on Zoom with us. But until next time, please know that you are beautifully, divinely in season. You are doing your own work so that you can be and do what you have been called and created to do. And I hope that this episode reminds you that you can decide to soar, that you can step into these seasons with courage, that you can step into these seasons and get the clarity that you need, because I believe the best is yet to come. So let's continue to decide to soar, living our own way so we can be the people that we were called to be. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Blessings.